5 things to consider before starting a TIPA project. Will the usage of the TIPA toolbox do the trick? Hello, I'm Valérie Bétry. I'm Project Manager at Public Research Center Henri Tudor in Luxembourg. I'm a TIPA lead assessor and trainer. I am part of the research team at Tudor who developed TIPA. The TIPA toolbox is ready to use. It provides supporting tools to perform a standardized, structured, objective, and repeatable assessment of IT processes. But is it enough to have a good tool? You know the saying, a fool with a tool is still a fool. The TIPA toolbox provides great support while doing a TIPA assessment, but can you really rely on the sole toolbox to be effective in the way you carry out an assessment? You know, it's now possible to better adapt the assessment approach in TIPA to the context of the assessment. A Class 3 assessment is much lighter to deliver than the traditional Class 2. But does it mean that anyone can run such an assessment with just the toolbox? TIPA is a complete framework. It provides rules for rating the interviews, for rating the processes, for consolidating the ratings or defining the maturity level achieved. You need guidance and advice on how to apply these rules. TIPA also provides guidance on the definition of the scope of the assessment project, the setup of the team, or the management of the project. This advice, that knowledge, is not embedded in the tools. The assessment is partly automatized thanks to some of the tools, but at the end of the day, the assessor's expert judgment is required to set the final rating and propose the appropriate improvements. So, applying TIPA is not automatic and requires some expertise. Here are 5 things you need to consider before starting a TIPA project. First, be ready to explain TIPA. You need to be able to explain the benefits of using TIPA, explain how process assessment works, explain the meaning of the process maturity profile, for example. You need to be able to explain the key success factors for an assessment project and the following improvements. You need to know the TIPA framework and the underlying ISO standard and be able to explain the main concept with simple and convincing words. 2. Target the right scope for the assessment project. It is important to first identify the right processes to assess during an assessment project. The TIPA framework provides a structured way to look at IT service management processes. You should use your knowledge of the TIPA process model to pick the adequate processes considering the context at hand. The maturity level targeted during the assessment is also a key element to define. Your comprehension of the different maturity levels and the attributes described in TIPA is capital to target the appropriate level according to the context. Finally, the guidance you have in TIPA on the selection of the right profiles to interview will help you target the right people to get a proper view of the way the process is actually performed in the organization. Third, select the appropriate class of assessment. It is important that the effort of the assessment project is tailored to the purpose of the assessment. You should be there to guide the assessment sponsor in the selection of the appropriate class of assessment according to the context at hand and according to the objective of the assessment project. It could be public display of assessment results or a quick checkup or comparison of several entities, for example. 4. Secure an efficient assessment team. Secure a team with assessors who master the technique of process assessment with TIPA. They should have a thorough knowledge of the TIPA framework to conduct interviews smoothly. The knowledge of the process model and the maturity attributes that are defined in the ISO standard on which TIPA is based will help structure interviews and will enable to assess the processes efficiently. If assessors have not internalized the TIPA concepts, the rating will be less solid and will take more time. The SWOT analysis and the improvement recommendation will also be less accurate. And 5. Rely on the TIPA toolbox. Rely on the toolbox to get practical support when conducting the assessment project, but also use the guidance provided in the TIPA method to manage the assessment project properly. What really makes TIPA different is the step-by-step method. To conclude, the TIPA toolbox is a good asset on which you can rely, but your understanding and knowledge of the TIPA concepts and of the assessment method itself are essential to be a great TIPA assessor and to deliver trustful assessments. If you need more support, you can contact us at tipa@tudor.lu. Bye!